Hi, first grade. Today we're going to talk about the life cycle of plants. I have my favorite author here. I know the koalas have heard me talk about Gail Gibbons a lot. She's one of my favorite authors because she writes nonfiction stories that teach us new things. So we've read several plant books and animal books already by Gail Gibbons. So today we're going to read From Seed to Plant as we learn about how plants grow. Most plants make seeds. A seed contains the beginning of a new plant. Seeds are different shapes, sizes, and colors. All seeds grow into the same kind of plant that made them. So an acorn's always going to make an oak tree. A sunflower seed's always going to grow into a sunflower. Many plants grow flowers. Flowers are where most seeds begin. A flower is made up of many parts. So if you were to pull open the petals of a flower, you would see the inside parts. This is where seeds are made. So right here it tells us some important parts. The stamens, the part of the flower around the pistils, are the stamens. So that's these guys. Stamens make yellow powder called pollen. And pollen is what Miss Kruger is allergic to. That's why I'm wearing my glasses today. The sticky part at the top of the pistil is called the stigma. So it's super sticky. It collects the pollen that helps make new seeds. This part is called the pistil. And this is the center of the flower, and that's where seeds grow. Before a seed can begin to grow, a grain of pollen from the stamen, so some of the pollen from here, has to land on the stigma at the top of the pistil. Remember that super sticky part. So the pollen comes off of one plant, it sticks to the stigma of another plant. This is called pollination. Pollination happens in different ways. Often, wind blows pollen from flower to flower. So if the wind blows and this pollen comes off, it might stick to that sticky part inside this flower, and that would make a new seed. Bees, other insects, and hummingbirds help pollinate. While they visit flowers for their sweet juice called nectar, pollen rubs onto their bodies. And we always see bees at recess, and I bet they're looking for that nectar inside each flower. But while they're in there, that pollen rubs off on them. Then they carry the pollen to another flower where it comes off onto that pistil, onto that top part, that sticky part. So you can see it gathering pollen. As soon as he goes to another plant, some of that pollen's going to come off. Same thing with hummingbirds. She gets that pollen on her, and then when she goes to the next plant, some of that pollen comes off. If pollen grains from the flower lands on the pistil of the same kind of flower, it grows a long tube into the flower. This is the beginning of a seed. So that pollen sticks up here on that sticky part, and then it starts to grow a seed. The seed grows inside the flower, even as the flower begins to die. As the seeds become bigger, a fruit or a pod grows around them. The fruit or pod protects the seeds. So, you know, when you see those flowers are closed up, there's seeds inside there. When the fruit or pod ripen, it breaks open. The seeds are ready to become new plants. Some seeds will just fall to the ground around the base of the plant where they will grow. Some pods or fruits open and the seeds pop out. Sometimes when birds eat berries, they drop the seeds. So she took that whole sprig and those seeds are dropping off. Other seeds fall into streams, ponds, rivers, or the ocean. There they travel on the water until they stick to dirt along the shore. So lots of different ways those seeds can get around. The wind scatters seeds too. Some seeds have fluff on them that lets them float to the ground like tiny parachutes. Others have wings that spin as they fall. So yesterday in our story, we talked about different kinds of seeds, and we talked about those helicopters we always see outside. Those are tree seeds. Dandelions, when you make a wish and blow all that fluffy stuff off, you're blowing off the seeds to make new dandelions. Animals can help scatter seeds too. They hide acorns and nuts in the ground. Some seeds have hooks that stick to the fur of animals or people's clothes. Later, they drop off into the ground. So I know we've had some burrs that stick to us when we walk through the woods. Those can drop off and make seeds on the ground so they can grow. A flower bed or vegetable garden is beautiful. Seeds are planted to grow in the gardens. The seeds come in small envelopes or boxes. Directions explain how to plant the seeds and care for the plants. The beginning of a plant is curled up inside each seed. Food is stored inside the seed too. The seed has a seed coat on the outside to protect it. So when you feel a seed from the package or one maybe that you found, like a sunflower seed, it has that hard seed coat on it. Once that seed coat gets wet enough from the water, the seed coat will break open and a plant can start to grow. A seed will not sprout until certain things happen. First, it must be on or in the soil. Then it needs rain to soak the seed and soften its seed coat. When the sun shines and warms the ground, the seed coat breaks open and the seed begins to grow. This is called germination. A root grows down into the soil. The root takes in water and minerals from the soil for food. So here you can see that seed coat starting to break off and the roots are going down. Remember yesterday we talked about these little pieces that come off. Those are called root hairs. So they're going down into the soil to suck up all that water and all those vitamins and nutrients for our plant. Up grows the shoot. Green leaves grow up from the shoot toward the sun. So that little shoot starts to pop up. That's what you first see popping up out of the ground with those two leaves. The plant grows bigger and bigger. The leaves make food for the plant from the water and minerals in the soil, the sunlight, and the air all around the plant. Finally, the plant is full grown. Buds on the plant open into flowers where new seeds will grow. Many of the foods people eat are seeds, fruits, and pods. They are full of nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. And they are tasty too. All right, so this talks about growing a plant. I'm going to show you up here. So here's our seed that starts, and you can see those roots growing down, those root hairs reaching out for water from the soil. So here's our seed. Next, as the little sprout starts to shoot up, we call that the shoot, we will get a seedling. That's the very beginning of the plant. So first we have the seed, then the seedling, then our plant continues to grow and lots more leaves grow till we have our mature or a grown-up plant. After our plant is mature, it can start growing flowers and then fruits. So remember, I always think of our pumpkin. We learned that our pumpkin had flowers that then fell off and the fruit began to grow. So on your paper, you're going to see seed, seedling, then our mature plant. I think on yours it already has flowers on it, but that doesn't show any fruit. So those are your parts of your plant in the order that they grow. I hope you learned a lot today about plants. Talk to you later.